Hi, and welcome to Saturday Fun Day with Connie. Today, my guest star is the fabulous Michele with So Magical Michele Creates. How are you doing today, Michele?
I'm doing so awesome. So excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, so you have any plans for the 4th of July weekend?
I don't. My kids go to their dad's tonight and I get them back on Tuesday. So I don't get to spend time with them for this holiday. In Utah, we have Pioneer Day at the end of the month. So we have fireworks and stuff for that as well. And I get them for that holiday.
Yeah, we don't really have anything planned. We used to barbecue sometimes on the 4th of July, but our barbecue pit, the lid don't like seem to close quite right.
Oh, that's
So too much air gets in and it takes forever for it to heat up. And like the last time Frank barbecued, he was like, I've had enough. And of course, it's always so hot outside too.
mm-hmm.
And, and like the fireworks, I like watching fireworks, but like we went one time, it was probably about 12 years ago, the last time we went to watch the fireworks. But usually I start getting sleepy early. I'm usually in bed about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I had a traumatic experience with fireworks when I was a kid. Actually, a couple
Oh.
of them. And so I'm not a huge fan of them. I think they're really pretty from a distance. So,
And most of the time, we can see a lot of the fireworks from our house. And then our neighbor tends to do fireworks a lot of times,
mhm.
like for New Year's and the 4th of July. So we usually still get to see some fireworks.
Me too.
And let's see, we have Colleen and Anita here. How are y'all doing today? And what are y'all working on? So
Mhm.
I have a few jokes for. Oh, we also have Lori too. Same questions. I have a few jokes for y'all, and these are kind of patriotic themed jokes for the 4th of July coming up. The first one is: if you crossed a patriot with a curly haired dog, what would you get? A Yankee Poodle. And the next one is: what what do our flag and a sad candy cane have in common? And this one took me a little while. So it's like, why do they say sad candy cane? Why is a candy cane sad? And then I finally figured it out once I saw the answer. They're both red, white, and blue. Blue. And the last joke that I'm going to share with y'all today is: what was the most popular dance in 1776? Independence dance. Let's see. Colleen says she's working on Sea Amy's. The She has the girls through the weekend. Ooh, awesome. Oh yeah, and let us know y'all 4th of July plans. Inquiring minds, especially mine, wants to know, and probably Michele wants to know too. Anyone doing anything special for the 4th? And some of y'all may have already seen. I put a giveaway out yesterday. And like the question I asked was, if the biscuit came to y'all house, what would y'all barbecue or grill for him, or if you would take him out to a restaurant? I tell you something, he's gonna be eating good with everything that y'all were willing to feed him. I'm like, but yeah, if y'all haven't checked the giveaway out, go check it out. It's gonna go on for the whole month of July.
Oh, awesome. I didn't get over there yet, so I'm going to go check that out as soon as I can today.
And Anita says, getting ready to go to Patriot Days. Awesome. And Colleen says, staying home with the doggies of the family, grand doggies included, they are afraid. Yeah, that's the sad thing. Animals get scared of the fireworks. I know my Allie likes to hide under the bed. My baby gets scared of everything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Colleen tell y'all. Not, I'm sorry. Why am I saying Colleen? Michelle. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and probably because I just read Colleen's comment, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Michelle tell y'all more about herself and her channel.
Okay. My name is Michelle, and I live in Utah. And I've had my channel, I believe my first video went up on April 28th, or was it the 18th? I'm not sure. So it's a brand new channel. I've been doing crochet tutorials and knit tutorials, although I've only been knitting for like 7 or 8 months, so that's kind of silly. But I've been having fun doing them. And then every couple of weeks I do kind of, here's what I've been making, here's what I have planned kind of thing. I have 6 children. My oldest son is married, and I have 2 grandchildren. And most of my kids live at home. My youngest is going to be 13 in August. I don't know what else you want to know.
I'll be asking you some more questions after a little while. So what are some of your non-yarny hobbies?
Oh, in my other life, I'm actually an energy healer. I do energy healing. I did recently start another channel to keep myself busy cleaning my home. Because I figure if I have to make a video for people to see, then I'll actually clean my house. So I've been doing that. And I play the piano. I sing. Hang out with my kids. Oh, I homeschool my kids. That kind of thing. I don't know. I'm a single mom, so.
But I loved how you put it, in my other life. Yeah, you have your crochet life and your other life.
That's right.
Let's see, we have Sand here and Sid. How are y'all doing today? And what are y'all working on? Colleen saying the German Shepherd squeezes under the bed. Aw, poor baby. And Colleen says that she has a lot in common with Michelle. And Colleen says, wow, that connects us even more. Aw. So do you have any whips or finished objects you want to show everybody?
Of course. So one of my things that I have right here, this is that velvet yarn, the Chanel yarn. I'm actually making a cover for my steering wheel.
Ooh,
So
nice.
that's my one, and it's so soft. Oh,
it looks soft, and I love that color.
Me too. And I actually just bought that at the Dollar Tree because I was like, oh, look, it's just enough to make a thing. I don't know if you've ever seen Jaden Stitch's mitt, dust mitt. This is also the velvet yarn, and it does so incredibly well. And her intro video to that video is just hilarious. So that's another this one's finished, obviously.
I love the color too, and it looks so soft.
It is pretty soft, and it like velvet picks up dust really well. So I've been impressed. Knitting wise, I have been on a sock knitting journey. So I have my neighbor wanted me. This is a local school, BYU. She wanted me to make socks for her grandkids, so I got these ready for her. And oh my gosh, I've got these little baby tiny newborn boots. These were so big. Oh, And then these are for my granddaughter. Her birthday's next week.
Ooh, nice.
And so I've been having a lot of fun with those. My works in progress socks wise are for my daughter. I've got these. I actually had these like way far and then had to frog like 2 inches. So that was really sad.
I've never done two at a time before.
Yeah, that's all I do because if I don't do them, I won't. I know I will not finish. So these are some other kids' ones I'm working on.
Nice.
I have like 3 pairs of socks going at the same time. That's how crazy I am. And then I have these ones that are on 9-inch circulars. And then actually, I have a tutorial coming out on Monday where I teach how I do my color work so it doesn't have floats.
Ooh,
So
I'm gonna have to pay attention to that.
yeah, so got those. Those are all my socks that I'm working on right now. The
Because
other thing, did you have a question?
I was gonna say that whenever I do color work, I always have the float. So
Yeah, it took me a long time to find a way. Like I kept researching and watching tutorials because I was like, there's got to be a way. Because I
it
was making baby socks. I didn't want little toes to get caught.
and it
So,
bulks up on the inside.
mm-hmm. So I like this. I've been enjoying it. And so I'll have my tutorial coming out on Monday. And then I just have been making these. They're water balloon type idea. So you get them
Ooh,
soaking wet and
cute.
throw at people. So I come up with the pattern. It'll probably be August when I put out a tutorial for those. So those have been really fun. I'm also been on the gnome making kick.
Yes, no, that is too cute.
This one's for my granddaughter, and then I've got these yarns to make one for my daughter. I'll be making those tomorrow, a gnome tomorrow. I love them. These are knit, and they go up so fast. They're so fast to make, and they're so stinking cute. So I've
You see,
got that.
I haven't knitted a gnome. I've only done crochet ones.
I have not crocheted a gnome yet. I have considered it. Actually, what I want to crochet is a mushroom to go with it. So I haven't gotten there yet, but that's what I want to do. I think that's all of them that I have like right now. I tend to work on so many projects at once, and I hear people that work on just one at a time, and I don't know how they do it.
See, I used to, do it where I typically just had one at a time because as a teenager, I would cross stitch, and I was horrible about completing my projects. So whenever I picked it back up, I had to discipline myself that I would not start another project until I had this one finished. So whenever I started loom knitting, and then crocheting, I kind of started off with that same format. I didn't like having, which I've gotten more relaxed with it, but it still makes me nervous when I have more whips going on at a
Mm-hmm.
time. But I mean, I basically always have three because I have one crochet for my crochet days during the week, one knitting for my knitting days of the week, and then my temperature blanket.
Mm. I
Year
haven't
long.
done a temperature blanket yet.
They're addicting. Let's see. Sid says, not working on anything right now, trying to decide what's next. And Cian says, I am crocheting the enduring vest on Ravelry. Nice. Okay. So let me get my questions. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
What made me decide to start a YouTube channel? It's kind of been a niggling idea for a while. I've written a couple of patterns. I have, um, if you give me a second, I'll go grab one. But I'll finish talking first. I've got a couple of patterns on Etsy, and I decided that I needed to have a way to give people a tutorial for some of the parts of the patterns. Um, and just all along watching different people's tutorials, and I'm like, I can do tutorial. I could do a tutorial. And so when I started knitting, I found out that there was the whole yarn community on YouTube, that people were knitting and crocheting. And I didn't even know it existed, other than like Jada and Stitches and Mikey from whatever his channel's called. I just knew about those that were like the big, they've got tons of subscribers and whatever. And then I started knitting and found this whole other thing with all the podcasts and everything. And I was like, I'm in. So that's what I did. And I'm going to go grab my towel for a second.
Okie dokie. But yeah, I was basically, whenever I first got into the yarn crafts, I knew there were like video tutorials and, like pattern tutorials, but I didn't know that there were like channels where, we would just discuss stuff to do with crochet knitting and, like show what we're working on, our makes. I didn't know that. And all of a sudden I started, noticing those type of videos, and I'm like, "Ooh, I can do that." And then I shared with a few people, and everyone kept telling me, "Oh, I think you should do a channel." And I was like, "Okay."
Your channel's awesome, so glad you did. So this is one of the patterns that I have on Etsy for the little dress that goes on a towel.
Oh, that's cute.
And then this little hat is also on Etsy. And cute, so this one is in the works. I'm writing the pattern for it.
Oh, that's adorable. That looks kind of like pepperonis.
It does kind of. I have other plans for this shape. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. And I was going to ask you if you did any knitting, but you already answered that question.
Yes.
So how did you learn how to knit?
YouTube. Actually, my knitting journey, like 20 years ago, my husband wanted to knit, so we got like a knitting project thing for Christmas. And so I made this little sweater for like a baby, and then never knitted again for like 15 years. Then I was like, I'm going to make my friend a dishcloth. And so I made a dishcloth, and then didn't knit again for another 5 years. And so then I just really went into it last November. Started making hats and socks.
Yeah, I learned from Shaundi with Expression Fiber Arts. I think it's her channel name. Something like that. That's how I learned. And then once I got the knit stitch and the purl stitch down, then I started, making the projects, and I learned a lot from Morley Bird. Because I found that's how I learned how to read patterns. I love me some Morley Bird.
Yeah, I've seen some of her stuff. She's got some great stuff. I like that she does both crochet and knitting.
And the irony is that like I did a lot of like, her patterns and stuff, or her tutorials for knitting, but I don't think I've done anything with crochet by Morley Bird.
Oh. That's where I found her first, just like some project. Because I've been crocheting since I was 9. My grandma taught me to crochet. And so for years, that's the only thing. If I was wanting to make a certain kind of project, I would come across somebody's channel that had the project. And that's how I heard of her first. And then when I started learning to knit, I was like, oh, she's got knitting too.
See, I learned how to knit first. And like I've been knitting, I just made 3 years that I've been knitting. And then I finally learned how to crochet. And September will make 2 years for crochet.
Well, welcome to the crochet world.
Thank you. So I'm still learning stuff, a lot of stuff with crochet. Still lots of stitches left to learn. And
I still have stitches. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never known how to do that. So, and I've been crocheting forever. So,
And usually I find a pattern I like and I just dive into the pattern. If it has a new stitch on it, then I'll learn it like that. If I don't know something, I just look it up on YouTube.
I know all these things. There's a basic pattern, intermediate, and I'm like, I don't care. I want to know how to make that.
That's how I am. If I want to learn how to make something, I dive in.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, we have another Connie with us, and we also have Angela. How are y'all doing? And what are y'all working on? And Sis says, do y'all remember in the 70s the plastic face and it was crocheting around it? I would love to find a tutorial on that. I know what you're talking about, and I believe it was you. I know someone had contacted me trying to see if I knew of any patterns, and I couldn't find anything. Um, but yeah, if anyone knows of where, like Sid could find something for that, please let her know.
Yeah,
And
I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't remember anything like that.
and what's bad is you don't really know what to search under to find it.
Mm-hmm. There's a
And,
few things from the 70s that I feel that way about.
and Colleen says yes, and the strawberry shortcakes. Let's see. Angela says she's doing good today, drinking water, still working on her granny squares. Awesome, awesome. Or like I like to say, awesome sauce. Okay, so my next question is, what are your favorite things to crochet and or knit?
Okay. Well, right now my favorite thing to knit is socks and gnomes. My favorite thing to crochet, I think, is anything that I'm creating myself, like these and these, like because I made them up the patterns myself. Um, Crochet, I don't know. It depends on my mood. It's whatever I want, like wearable, non-wearable, toys, not toys. If I'm in the mood for it, that's what I want to do that day.
And feel free to let us know in the chat what your favorite things are to crochet and knit. Also those that are that will be watching on replay, let us know in the comments. But for me, and it's with crochet and knitting, it's the same. I like shawls the most, and hats are a close second. I also love socks. I've only done two pairs of socks so far, but I do intend to do more with socks. I want to make some with cables.
Yeah, I haven't really done much with cables, but I want to.
Oh, I love cables.
I think
I
it's
mean,
my
I've done it on like beanies.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think of. I know I've definitely done beanies. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've done cables on, but I really want to make them on socks. I love the look of cables, and the funny thing is that they look so intimidating because whenever I first did cables, I was like, what am I getting myself into? You know, this is going to be so difficult, and it wasn't because you just basically you put a few stitches on a little cable thingy and you either put it in the front or the back based on what the pattern tells you, and then you move on to the next stitches on your knitting needles, and
Mm-hmm.
then you go back to what's on that cable. You just knitting them out of order, but it really isn't hard if you can do like the knit stitch and all. And I think yeah, pearls with it sometimes too, but if you know
Right.
the stitches, but I know it's mostly knit stitches. But if you know those two stitches, you're good. Let's see. Connie says, my favorite to crochet is shawls and blankets. I don't knit. See, I love blankets too, but I, I struggle when it comes to making blankets because they're so time consuming and I start
Mm-hmm.
getting bored.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
like
like I'm
little projects
Yeah, it's like I like moving on to something else. Like I don't like crocheting or knitting the same project twice. I get bored. Or like
Mhm.
or like sometimes like if you keep doing like the same color, I get bored with it. That's why I like cake yarn. I get excited when you get to the next color. It's like
Uh-huh.
new color, new color. Um, oh, one thing I do want to remind y'all before I forget about this. Monday's live will be my first educational live. I'm kind of nervous about it. Um, the topic is zero weighted yarn or cotton thread 10. And there's still time to get pictures of makes that you've made with that type of yarn or thread. Please, if you submit pictures, get them into me as soon as possible. I really need them by the end of today if you want to be added to that little video on the live because I'm going to be working on that tomorrow. So I need to make sure I have the pictures before tomorrow. And it could be like stuff that you've done like years ago. It don't have to be anything recent. It's more to help inspire people and show off y'all beautiful makes and it also gives people ideas of things that they can make with that type of yarn.
Mhm.
So if y'all have pictures, make sure to get those pictures in.
I've already
Um,
sent you mine.
just trying to put that out there before I forget about that. I mean, I try to mention like things as much as I can to help remind people, but sometimes I forget to mention things. But yeah, so my next question I have for y'all is, do y'all like fringe on projects?
Ooh, depends on the project, but definitely yes. The one shawl that I actually have made has fringe.
Yeah, I find it looks best on like blankets, like Afghans and stuff, and shawls.
Hmm.
Um, and scarves too. I'm forgetting about scarves. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta have them on
I
the end of the scarves.
I love fringe. Um, and also like the tassels too.
Hmm.
Like some
I
of the
want to make
shawls.
a purse or a handbag that has fringe all over it. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, that would be. Oh yeah, I love me some fringe. No, what's fun is cutting all the pieces of yarn and trying to get them approximately the same length. Because even
Hmm.
even though you measure it, and usually you'll take like one yarn and like put it up to another, and you cut, they still not the same size.
Yeah, you still have to go in and trim them afterwards. You're like, what?
And it's like, and even when you think you're gonna make them even, it's like you're like, oh, that's not even enough. But oh, I love fringe. So,
Yeah.
so let us know your opinions on fringe. What type of projects you put fringe on, and that type of thing. But me, I love me some fringe. And let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and share the patriotic patterns that I have for y'all
Mm.
today. Um, these are patterns. Well, some of them are Ravelry, some of them are different sources. They're all free patterns, and the links are all in the. Oh, I'm getting tongue tied. They're all in the description box of today's live. Oh, that is one thing I did forget to mention. Connie said she just threw some yarn in your window, Michelle, which means she subscribed to your channel.
Oh, thank you.
I did forget to mention that Michelle's link for her channel is in the description box of today's live and also pinned to the top of the chat. So I encourage y'all go check her out. I think y'all love her channel. Okay, let me get to those patterns. This one I love. And y'all know I love gnomes. This
Oh,
is
so cute.
a 4th of July gnome cozy. Isn't that so cute? That's what I'm going to have to make eventually.
I
I
need to make
send
one for my daughter.
I just marked it, which I probably marked it in the wrong spot. Yeah, I did. Hold up, let me change the folder. Yeah, yeah, okay. But I think that's just too cute. Yeah, I was working on I have a lot of patterns I'm going to be sharing on the live on Monday to give
Mm-hmm.
people ideas of different things they can make with the cotton thread tin and zero weighted yarn. And I was trying to organize it. So I made all these different folders. And I still need to go back because I forgot to divide it by knitting and crochet patterns. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the next one is the Store Spangled Banner by Kara Gunza.
Mm,
This would be so fun to like decorate your home with.
definitely. I
Forgetting
already
about
have so many projects, and now you're giving me more.
I'm good for that. I think that's just too cute. And let's get to the next pattern. This is a Patriotic Crochet Store by Sarah Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
This would probably be cute, like maybe put it on a blanket, like an applique.
You can stick it on a gnome.
That's true too. And let's get to the next one. This one is an American flag blanket, and that's what it looks like. This one looks more like the actual flag. Now, there's
Mm-hmm.
one that I shared previously that kind of had like the wavy look. That one's my favorite, but this one looks more like the actual flag. And one of these days, I'm gonna make a patriotic blanket. And the last pattern, and I love this one, is Uncle Sam's leg scarf. And this is from her crafter's life, Chelsea. And I love her scarf patterns. She has like the cutest scarf patterns. And that's what this one looks like. Isn't that cute?
That is so adorable.
Yeah, she has a lot of like leg patterns. Like she has like oh what's that holiday? St. Patrick's Day.
Uh-huh.
Um I know she has like a Christmas one, a witch legs one. And I've made like 3 or 4 of her scarf patterns. Like I said, I love her patterns.
Those are awesome. I'll have to go make me one.
And I'm shocked I haven't made that one yet. And because it's on my to-do list, but I just kind of forget about it and never get around to it.
It's super cute, but I think July 4th is so hot.
It is. And especially if you live in a hot state.
Mm-hmm.
And Connie says, I love fringe and tassels, but I find that most people don't. Yeah, I know some don't, but I know I love it. Oh, well, Connie's got to go. I hope you have a good day, Connie. Sid says, I love my patriotic stuff, but I can't read patterns no matter how much I try. I get confused. Oh, I'm sorry. And the thing is, like on the lives, it's kind of like when it comes to video tutorials, I can't really show it because it would play a video.
Hmm.
But I do try to periodically share, which I haven't done real recent though. I try to share video tutorials periodically on my community page. So sometimes you may find patterns there. And I'm going to try to over the weekend share some on my community page, see what I can find for patriotic stuff.
Mhm.
Sid says she loves French. Awesome. 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 Okay. My next question I have is what stitch has been the hardest for you to learn?
um, I can't think of any in crochet. I think I haven't found any that were hard to learn in crochet, but I think it's because I learned the basic stitches so young that it's just second nature to me.
What
Um,
about knitting?
that's what I think it's different kinds of increases. Those have been the hardest for me to figure out.
Now, if I like knit front and back, I find that's the easier one to do in knitting to increase. Now, sometimes the make one stitch can kind of get confusing because it's like you have the make one right and the make one left, and a lot of times the patterns don't always say if it's supposed to be right or left. But
Mm. And the make one left's really hard because you have to make sure that you get the right stitch to pull up on.
hmm
So, yeah, those are the ones that I've found the most challenging so far.
but like for me, like when it comes to crochet, the Celtic weave stitch, it's like for some reason that one I would keep getting confused,
Mm-hmm.
and it was mostly like where you were supposed to go because you're kind of like all over the place. Which I need to finish that shawl that uses that stitch. I had ran out of the yarn, and I don't have that much left to do on it, but I ran out of the yarn, and
Mm.
I had to order some. And now that I got it in, I keep forgetting about it. But I think that's the hardest for knitting. Oh, and I meant to look this stitch up. I can't remember the name of the stitch, but it was like I had made this hort beanie, and what made this stitch so hard was it was such a tight space to work. And some stitches in knitting are like that, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
like trying to get your needle where it needs to go, and it's just like you have like hardly any space to work. Um, I wish I could remember the name of it, but and that's the only time I've ever used that stitch. Because I want to say it's kind of like doing the cable, but you're not doing using the cables, if I recall right. I don't know. That was the most challenging for that. Let's see. Sid says I just got two Red Heart Americana yarn yesterday. Ooh, nice. And that leads me to the next question I want to ask. Have you made anything patriotic?
I have like this kind of dress in red, white, and blue with a patriotic towel. Um, I haven't made a lot of patriotic stuff. I think it's because a lot of times up until more recently, I would get in the mood to crochet when it would get cold. And so then I wasn't thinking about patriotic stuff.
Yeah. For me, this beanie here, and I knitted Frank a patriotic beanie, which his is a little different because the pattern for this, I think it had like three different ways that you could, make a patriotic beanie. But unfortunately, the website that pattern was on, it's like not down where you can't get the pattern anymore.
Oh
Um,
no.
and I know because I know everybody always says they love this hat, and it's like the pattern's not there anymore. I mean, hopefully one day maybe they'll put it back up somehow. And then there was one that was more like a rectangle shaped one that I made for a friend that was patriotic. And I think that's all I've done for patriotic makes. Now, I was wanting to make a patriotic gnome, but time kind of got away from me. So it's like, oh no, I'll probably try to make it for the next patriotic holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to have gotten it made like in enough time to have it out for the 4th.
Uh-huh.
Like on my little shelving unit, because I have one that I so want to make. Let's see, we have Chris and Laura Lee that joined us. Hello, y'all, and how are y'all doing? And what are y'all working on? Sid says she hasn't yet, but I am going to. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, and another thing I want to make, like I said earlier, I want to make one of those patriotic blankets,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that look like the flag. Oh, and patriotic shawl. There's there's one that I have, and I believe it was a knit one, and it's beautiful. I want to make that one day too.
Yeah.
And I know on one of my previous lives I was sharing some patriotic patterns, and there was this one that was for a shawl, and this one is actually my favorite one. But this one uses the fingering weight yarn,
Mm.
which I mean it would be beautiful, but unfortunately I don't have the yarn in those colors, and then there needs to. I wish the fingering weight yarn was cheaper. I really do.
Yeah.
And let's see. Uh, Oh, and have y'all ever crocheted or knitted with beads?
I have.
Ooh,
I made a scarf that I put beads on for my daughter. That was really fun.
ooh, nice. I haven't actually done it yet. It's something that I do eventually want to do. Now I have used beads on fringes
Mm-hmm.
before, especially whenever I was doing like loom knit shawls. I was like having fun putting beads on it. But I haven't done it like with actual knitting or crochet.
Yeah.
But I love the bead work. When I see
Beautiful.
like other people's makes, it's gorgeous. Laura Lee, and really, I'm shocked I haven't done it yet. I really am.
You need to do it.
But what it is there's so much you want to do, and you know, and it's not like stuff gets worked up like that.
It takes time.
Exactly. Laura Lee says, I am working on finishing some of the frozen popsicle holders and some other projects that just need little things like insecured. Ooh, sweet.
Nice.
But yeah, love,
Pops.
love, love. But yeah, I absolutely love the look of beads, especially in knitting. And that's the
Yeah, I
one thing.
haven't knit with them yet.
That's the one thing that I find a lot of times. It's like I find there's so much more you can do with crochet, but with knitting, there's just certain things that look better knitted, or at
Mm-hmm.
least that's my opinion. Like
Mm-hmm.
I find socks look better knitted. Um, like the lace work with shawls, like where you're using the fingering weight yarn. Those shawls are gorgeous.
Yeah, I
um,
got into it because I was crocheting hats for my kids, and then I decided that my one son needed a knit hat. And so that's why I got back into it. And then and socks, crochet socks don't have the stretch that knit socks do. So between the look of the fabric and the stretch, I definitely prefer knit socks.
Now, I've never crocheted socks before, but
I did once.
it is
That's the last time.
it is something I do eventually want to do. But like I said, overall, I prefer the look of knitted socks. But there is this one pattern by Morley Bird. It's like slipper socks.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, I actually did go to try to make it one time, and I couldn't do it because she had done it where you're using like the double pointed needles,
Mm.
and I cannot get a project started on the double pointed needles like that. Like in where you're working in the round. Now, like for instance with beanies, now I can transfer to double pointed needles,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fine like that. But when it comes to starting, it's like I don't know. It's flimsy. It's all over the place. But now that I've actually like knitted socks, I think I could convert it where instead of being on double pointed needles, where I could do it in the round on the circular.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last pair of socks I did was actually a pattern meant to be on double pointed needles, and I just did it in the round on the circulars.
Yeah, the little baby booties I made were supposed to be done on double pointed. And it took me a little thinking to figure out how to get, as it changed different parts, how to move it around. But I did it because I'm like, I'm not going to try double pointed needles with these.
I,
Because I've made a gnome. This gnome I made on double pointed needles. That's my first
oh,
double pointed needle project. So,
but it's like that first, especially that first row or two. It's awkward, and in general, it's awkward. But you try putting it on the because it's like you don't want the gaps,
uh-huh.
and I don't know. I can't start a project on double pointed needles. Laura Lee says, I made some small girls' necklaces with beads, put a little note with, I guess, my phone number and a quarter old payphones. The note says, call grandma anytime you need someone to tell you I love you. Aw, that's sweet.
I'm
I know,
going to make this my granddaughter.
it's so hard to believe that payphones aren't around anymore.
It's crazy.
And I mean, it was such a staple. Now, like you tell like a young kid about payphones, they're looking at you like, "What's that?"
I think I saw it in a movie once. That's what they get.
Or the
Yeah.
rotary phones when they don't know how to use a rotary phone.
Like you
I
just
think
pull it all the way and then I let it go.
I think that's funny.
There's a
Oh,
few things I tell my kids about and they just look at me like I'm crazy.
but a lot of times it's like you miss those things on some level, and it's like I don't know. I just feel like certain things were simpler back in the day.
Yep, and they were saying that though when I was a kid, people were saying it was simpler back in the day. And when you look back, it was. It just we keep making it more and more complex as life goes on.
And even whenever you look back, like even before like your time and stuff, it's like I don't know. There's just like kind of like this classic look, this elegance, and you know, and you're just like, ooh, you know, I like looking at those old timey pictures and stuff. The way that like they dress back then, or fix their hair, or like some of the dance moves.
Yeah.
But but yeah, things keep changing. Before you know it, technology is going to take everything over. Everything, jobs.
Yeah, hopefully not because we need them.
I know, jobs. Self-driving vehicles, which is already getting started, and that scares
Right?
me. I
They're
mean,
weird.
I'm like, I'm like my mind. I'm thinking of this stuff like, what if someone hacks them?
Oh
you know,
yeah.
or what if there's a glitch or malfunctions, or I don't know. That's just stuff that I wonder about. I don't know. I couldn't trust a vehicle to drive itself.
I've tried it once just because I was driving a vehicle for somebody that had that. And so I thought, okay, well, I have it. I'm gonna see how it feels. It made me so uncomfortable. I'm like, no, I need to be in control. I need to hold the wheel. I need to I wasn't okay.
Like me, I don't like cruise control. It's like Frank, he loves cruise control. He always uses it. And like one time, I finally tried to use it,
hmm
and I was just like, It's like
I like it because I don't speed. I will end up speeding if I'm not using it. So
I
that's why
I
I
think
use it.
I think that's why he likes it, because he don't have to worry about it. But to me, I just felt like I was doing nothing, and I felt like I could so fall asleep
Yeah, that is. I have to be really careful. If I'm dozy at all, no speed control. Yeah, cruise control.
because it's like you're used to like your foot on the thing, which somehow and it kind of alerts you more, keeps you awake.
Yeah, and I hate it in rush hour because I'm like, nope, I need to be like able to be really on top of things in case the people in front of me slow down or stop. Yeah.
Let's see. Laura Lee says she got a small circular needle with 2-inch needles on the cables, no DPNs.
So that would be probably like these ones, where they're just these like the needle parts like that long.
Yeah, I have the long needles, the interchangeable, and the shorts. Like I like the shorts for making beanies.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we have Sally in the house. Hi, Sally. How are
Hi,
you
Sam.
doing today? And what are you working on? And let's see. Oh, my next question for y'all is: do you like palms on beanies? So,
Yes, I do. I left them off of my son's, but I do. I actually made my daughter a reversible beanie for Christmas and figured out a way to make it so the pom pom could switch sides because
oh,
she likes them
cool.
too.
I love the fox fur one. Basically,
Mhm.
kind of like the one that's here, and I also make them on the palm maker too. The regular with yarn type ones. I love making the multiple colors.
Yeah, those are so cute.
And speaking of which, I did do a tutorial on how to do that. And it also kind of shows those that don't know how to use a palm maker how to make one. You just don't change. You just keep doing it in the same color. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I haven't gotten to use a palm maker thing yet, so I don't have one. So I get to make in the old fashioned way,
yeah.
where I took had Pringles lids that I cut the little shape out of it so that they would be um more sturdy.
What's funny is like my first palm maker was like kind of like these little disc things with
Mhm.
and I really wasn't that big on that one.
No,
Um,
they're hard to use, but that's all I know how to use yet because I haven't gotten a fancy one yet.
right now I have the one that kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of like opens up and both sides, and that one I love. But yeah, and palms are so fun to make. But yeah, let us know like what you use palms on. I know of course beanies, but do you use them elsewhere for
My
other?
aunt made she would take metal hangers and wrap them with yarn. I don't remember the process, but she would then put the pom poms right by the hook.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut today's live a little short. I think I'm gonna go about an hour today instead of an hour and a half. 'Cause my back still has been bugging me. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a pattern giveaway. So let me get Nightbot up and let me think of a word for y'all to use. I'm trying to think of something. It gets hard to think of a word to use. Let's see. Oh, what would be a good word? I'm still trying to think.
Well, I see lots of stripes over there. You can use stripes. You got stripes on your hat and your background.
That's a good idea, stripes. So let's see, let me type it in. Okay. So type the word stripes, all lowercase, STRIPES, in the chat if you want to be entered to win one of my patterns from my Ravelry store. And y'all can start now. Oh, hi, Teensy. How are you today? And what are you working on? And Samantha. But yeah, type the word stripes, all lowercase, and with an S at the end if you want to be entered to win one of my patterns. Well, hi, Joanne. How are you doing today? And what are you working on? Yes, stripes is the word to type. And this is open worldwide. Oh, hi, Lisa the Grammy. How are you doing today? So I see like more people are joining us. I was gonna cut things short for an end at the hour mark, but if y'all want me to keep going, I will. Just let me know in the chat. Oh, hey, Caitlin, how are you doing today? And what are you working on? But yeah, I was gonna go ahead and cut things short because of my back, but but it seems like everyone just started entering, so I kind of hate cutting it short now. Oh, Teensy's working on a blanket. Ooh, nice. Okay, I'll give y'all 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and stop. So let's see who the lucky winner is going to be. Good luck, everybody.
Yay!
The winner is Teensy Kismet. Congratulations, Teensy. You are the lucky winner. So I need you to email me at justanotherstitch2020@gmail.com. And my email is right here on the screen. It's also in the description box of all my videos and on my about page. But Teensy, I know Teensy has my email. We email each other a lot. Okay, so let's see. Caitlin says she's been working on a top. Joanne's working on a mermaid Grafgan. And let's see. Lisa has to go buy a new battery for her truck, so no more yarn this month either. Oh,
So sad.
I know. I'm sorry your battery went out on you. Lorley, you might want to try refreshing if you're lagging. And one thing I have noticed lately, like sometimes when you go into a live, sometimes they'll start you at the beginning. I've had that happen a few times now. Samantha's working on granny squares. TC says, whoop, whoop, love your work. Aw, thank you. And she can't believe she won. Aw. you never know when your time's going to come to win. You never know. And for those that don't know, I do have a giveaway going on right now for the month of July. I put the video out yesterday morning. So if y'all haven't checked that out, go check it out. And y'all can decide what y'all want to feed the biscuit for the 4th of July.
Yeah, I got to think about that.
What's that?
I've got to think about that one.
And then what was funny is I was trying to think of something to ask to kind of make things fun. And, I kind of wanted to do something patriotic for the 4th of July. The only thing I could think of was barbecue and fireworks. So, and I figured like, the barbecue would be more fun. And then I was like, everyone seems to love the biscuits. So I made it about him. But then afterwards, I was like, I really probably should have said if me and the biscuit were both at your house, what would you both be doing for us?
I'm
Or
assuming you'd be with him.
or would you take us out to eat? I'm like, he'd be eating good without everything people are saying. The ribs, the brisket. One person said homemade ice cream,
Mm.
burgers, hot dogs, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there's that going on. And like I said earlier in the live, um, Monday will be my first educational live, and we're going to be discussing zero weighted yarn or cotton thread tin yarn. And I'm asking people to submit pictures of things that they've made in the past using that type of yarn thread. Um, so if y'all have pictures, please get them to me today, by the end of today, because I'm going to be working on making that video for the live tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff. I'm going to have to make sure I have everything ready to go tomorrow. Earlier today, I was organizing the patterns, which I still need to do a little more work on that. But yeah, hopefully that live y'all will learn a lot of stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. Then the following Monday we'll be getting into number one weighted yarn. So y'all might want to start getting y'all pictures. Y'all might want to start getting y'all pictures ready for that too. But if y'all send them early, the number one weighted yarn, make sure you put like in the subject or in the email that it's the number one weighted, because it there's not that big of a difference between the zero weighted and number one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they start to look alike, especially in pictures. Let's see. The educational live, Samantha, is gonna be Monday, July 4th at Monday 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's still my typical Monday live spot. I'm just turning it into educational topics to do with yarn, crochet, knitting. Um, but all my live spots are going to stay the same. Now on Mondays, I'll no longer do guest stores on Mondays, and I figure probably about the first 15, maybe 20 minutes will be more chit chatting. Then we'll start getting into the topic. Um, and one thing I do want to mention, because I'm going to be busy doing a lot of stuff like, explaining and pulling up files and stuff, like sharing patterns. I may not be able to greet everybody like I normally do on my lives. So if I miss greeting anybody on my Monday lives, I apologize. It's not intentional. And like I said, like sometimes my eyes won't be on that chat. And like I know like Mondays I have a lot of patterns I'll be sharing with y'all. Let's see. Lorley says, I made a shawl, but don't know if it's a one or two, no ball band. Which, I mean, we could probably use it for like number one or number two. Just kind of guess. Because sometimes too, some of the yarns actually, they'll claim that it's like a certain weight, and you're looking at it and you're like, I don't think it's actually a full weight.
Definitely agree with that.
Now, Lorley, I will have moderators whenever I go live Monday. Let's see. I wish I would have prepared more questions for today. I didn't prepare as many today as I usually do. Laura Lee says, I don't have a pattern. I just made it up, but it could be done in any weight. Okay, yeah, that should work then. But like I said, when y'all submit your pictures, make sure, if you submit number one weighted pictures, make sure you mention that. But that way I don't get pictures confused. And also with the picture videos, the third Wednesday of the month will be the next Southern Crocheters live. And we're going to be doing a little video with pictures of people's yarn stashes, or like pictures of maybe some of your favorite yarn. So, y'all can either submit y'all pictures to me or Barbara with Crochet Therapy. That live's going to be on Barbara's channel for this month. And then next month it'll be on mine. um, then, of course, there's the finished projects video on the 15th. And another thing I'm going to be doing, and this will start on August 1st, I'm going to kind of have a themed video where, like, the video I'll do on August 1st is going to be like gloves or mittens, fingerless gloves, where y'all can send pictures of your stuff that you've made in the past. This one don't really need to be recent makes, but I'll do that. And each month I'll do like a different theme. Like one month it may be socks, one month it may be shawls, one month it may be beanies, and so on and so on. Laura Lee says, I'll see if I can. You know how helpless I am with my phone. Oh, yeah, Laura Lee don't get along with her phone. But Laura Lee, there's a lot that I still, like I don't know how to do on a smartphone. I'm still learning as I go. Sometimes I have to Google like how do I do this on the phone. And like and the funny thing too is that we didn't have a smartphone till about a year ago. We had like an old ancient cell phone.
I want to give all my kids the old phones. Like, you guys don't need smartphones.
And to think none of that was around back, like like I know, like whenever I was younger and stuff, cell phones did not exist.
Right? Back before the internet.
And now it's funny, we can't picture like now not having the internet and cell phones and
Yeah, when Google used to be, you went to the library and opened up the encyclopedias and hoped that they were up to date.
And it's funny. I saw this movie or was a TV. I think it was a TV show, and like the parents took the cell phones away from their kids, and of course the kids are like, "How am I supposed to do my homework without the internet?" And the parents like use the encyclopedia, so the kid did, and then like the teacher gave them a lower grade because they said like the information was outdated.
Yeah. Do they even update encyclopedias anymore?
Probably not. I think the rain started. I hear it sounds like it's raining. Time for Alley Cat to go hide under the bed. Let's see. Laura Lee says, I don't even know what kind this phone is. The kids got it for me. Chris don't like cell phones. Laura Lee says we couldn't even afford an old rotary type phone when I was growing up. We had to run up to grandma's. And then like, oh, remember the TVs being the bubble screens?
Mm-hmm. When I was really little, we had black and white.
That's true too. I mean, I think it was always color TV whenever I was born, but I don't really remember like whenever I was real little, so maybe it was still black and white.
Yeah. I remember we had black and white until I was probably like 8, but color TV, everybody else had color. My parents just hadn't gotten a new TV.
And I remember we had this TV in the living room. It was one of those big where it kind of had like the wooden frame,
Mm-hmm.
and the picture would go out on it. And, and we would have to take a shoe and like bang the bottom of the TV with the shoe, the shoe to get it to come back in.
Oh, how often we had to move the little rabbit ears around to get the reception right.
Or before remote controls, whenever usually kids were the remote control, which I
Yeah.
know that's how it was growing up for me. Connie, come change the channel. But yeah, the differences. I'm trying to think of some other things too. Oh, that like it was so different growing up compared to
I
like now.
remember when call waiting and call and voicemail came out, and it was the weirdest thing.
And
I
we
don't
didn't
even,
have
yeah, people don't even use call waiting anymore because of the way cell phones work. It's so weird.
and we didn't have call waiting for the longest time. And I've always been bad with call waiting because it's like you're trying not to interrupt somebody speaking, and you hear the little thing, and you're like, and then by the time you're like, can you hold on a second? It stops. The
Yeah,
person's
I
not there
hated it.
anymore.
I didn't ever answer it when I was a teenager and we would get calls. I was like, whatever. I don't know who you are, but I'm not answering. If I was on the phone, then I was on the phone for a reason, right?
Yeah, and there was no caller ID, which that
Mm-hmm.
would be horrible nowadays with all the solicitors, spam calls, those trying to call, getting your information.
Yeah. The idea of just not having any clue who was on the phone seems so weird now, but that's how it was. The other one
It,
was microwaves. We didn't have a microwave until I was older.
I remember at first when we first got our microwave, because you could cook in the microwave, and we would try, and it was like most things were not good cooked in the microwave,
No, they aren't.
like hamburgers. Who tried to cook hamburgers in the microwave?
Oh, hamburgers don't cook well at all in microwaves.
They were horrible. Microwaves typically are best to heat things up.
Yeah.
Um, or like I remember like VCRs and stuff, and for the longest time we
Big,
didn't
huge
have a
ones.
VCR.
We'd bring them home from the rental store in the big bags.
And like those big bulky tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the funny thing is the rental. We no longer have the rental stores like how we used to growing up.
Now you get the red box or you just stream it off the internet.
But yeah, the good old days. Teensy says we got our first color TV in 1955 because I was a baby. It was a console had to, I guess, had a stereo on top built in.
Mm,
Cool. And then I remember like the cordless phones when they first came out.
yeah. I
Because
remember my friends had them and I was jealous because we didn't have them. And then we got them and it was really cool for a little while and then I lost interest.
yeah, because it took a while before we finally got one. And I remember the phone in my parents' bedroom. We had like this huge cord. So like you could literally take the phone and bring it, from the back of the house to the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Um and like, so like a lot of times I'd be like bringing the phone in my bed so I could talk to my friends.
Yeah. I remember hanging the cord down the stairs so that it would unwind.
And let's see. TC says we had time limit, so my sibs and I got a chance to talk. You got busy signal if you called our house 5 kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
because well, my dad used to hate it. Like, I know, especially with me. I don't know how it was with my siblings as much because they were older than me. But like, my dad hated it whenever I would get on that phone, and he would get mad. Like if he tried to call and he would get a busy signal.
The kids nowadays don't even know what a busy signal is. Nor do they know that when you pick up a phone, you have to listen for the dial tone.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Oh, and that kind of reminds me. Whenever I was stationed in Diego Garcia, like to call, like if somebody was calling, it was like really expensive. But
Mm-hmm.
they had like these special lines set up where it wasn't as expensive to call, but it was hard to get through and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes they would literally like if a more important call came through, they
You
would
just
bump your
drop.
call. Hmm. And like the thing was that the way the numbers were set, like how you had to call it, and a lot of people, like a lot of times, like the people I gave the number to, they didn't understand how it worked. You would have to type in like, you know, a certain set of numbers and kind of have to wait for da 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 before you put the rest of the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember that. And then calling off that island. Oh, it was expensive. The calling cords.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember because I've always lived in Utah except for a couple years in Arizona. And at one time I was interested in a guy. This was early internet days. I was interested in a guy that was in Georgia, and he had like $1,000 phone bill because of talking to me. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's way too much for talking to me.
and that's funny because it's like now you don't really have the long distance
Oh,
things with cell
I mean,
phones and all.
if there's any extra charge, I think it's certain countries or something, but just you can call anywhere in the United States for just your phone bill.
So that's one plus with technology. Let's see. Sid says when I was a kid, we were allowed to use the phone. Sid says, remember those days of the party line? See, I don't really remember the party line.
My mom talked about them.
I mean, I've heard of it, but Sid says, but I do remember we had a party line. One ring was for us, two rings was the neighbors.
Yeah.
Teensy says, love party lines, how you kept up with everyone along the bayou. Yes, and Teensy's from Louisiana. Laura Lee says, I lived in Utah too. That's where I graduated.
Oh, awesome. What part of Utah?
Now, one thing with Utah, whenever Frank was a truck driver, we would go to Salt Lake City a good bit because the main terminal for the company he worked with um, was in Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
CR1. Let's see. Well, Sid, we're not going to talk about that guy. um, yeah, I try to avoid the subject of politics on my channel as much as possible. It gets too controversial.
Very
Sam
quickly.
also from Louisiana. And Laura Lee says, my grandmother had party lines. If you called anywhere outside the city, you were charged long distance. Yeah, because like growing up, like we had, I lived in Homa, but like if you called like the neighboring town, Thibodeau, you had to
Mm-hmm.
pay distance. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
Laura Lee says, my grandmother had party lines. If you call, oh, I already read that.
Yeah,
Oops.
she's also saying that she was just from outside of Roosevelt, which that's not too far away from me, but still like a good hour or two drive.
Teensy says, my brother went to BYU back in the 70s. What's BYU?
Nice. That is it's called Brigham Young University. It's a college in Provo. And it's a part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's actually, that's what these socks that I
Okay.
made from.
I got confused because Teensy's from Louisiana. And I'm like, what's BYU in Louisiana?
Yeah, it means that her brother came out here, which is quite common. There's people from all over the world that go to BYU.
Yeah, because like here it's like, LSU, Tulane, USL, but I think they changed the name of USL.
Mm.
Um, well, in Thibodeau, there's Nicholls State University. I know I'm forgetting some colleges. Yeah, Sands from Crowley, Lion Point area. She's not that far from me.
Nice.
But yeah,
I
let,
think it's really fun with the internet that you get to talk to people all over the world. But at
mhm.
the same time, as I've found YouTubers that are in Utah, I get so excited to find somebody that's in my area.
And really, I'm kind of shocked at how many people are from Louisiana in the Yorney community.
I've been
Um,
surprised at how many are just from the South in general.
mhm. Laura Lee says, I almost went to Rick's College in Rexburg, Idaho.
Yeah, it's not called Rick's anymore. It's BYU Idaho.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a few more minutes left and then we'll be wrapping up. Uh, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to mention. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Because I talked about the videos coming up, and I mentioned about my giveaway that I have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think that's pretty much it that's going on with my channel. Oh, do you have anything going on in your channel, Michele, that you want to mention?
Um, Not anything extra special. Just I'm looking forward to when I get my 100. I will do my first giveaway. Um,
Woo-hoo.
so everybody come subscribe. um, I kind of have a schedule for the most part. Oh, I am doing something. So this one here, I decided that on July 25th, I'm gonna have the tutorial for how to do this on my channel as a Christmas in July kind of thing. I don't get to be a fairy, but I like the idea of doing something for Christmas July. So that is coming up that I'm gonna do that. Um, so that's about the only real fun thing right now.
And speaking of tutorials, I was trying to get my beanie tutorial done
Mhm.
for the month of July. Well, that didn't happen. I'm gonna try to have it for August. Try to do that in the month of August instead. Because
They
like
are
right
a lot of work. Tutorials, you have to record them and edit, and it's like more editing than normal.
now,
They're a lot of work.
and the thing is that like whenever I do my tutorials, I have to sit at my filming table, and it agitates my back more,
Mhm.
and with my back, you know, been how it's been acting up. So I'm gonna aim for August to have that. And like I said, I do want to do kind of like a not I mean a knit along, sorry, a knit
Mhm.
along with it kind of type thing where those that make the beanie, I'll enter y'all into a giveaway.
Oh,
But
fun.
I will eventually get that done. I'm pokey with tutorials. And some people can just like whip them out like they're nothing. That
Yeah. Right now, I'm doing a crochet tutorial every 3 weeks and a knit tutorial every 3 weeks, and then my regular kind of podcast like video. But I'm not sure if I can keep up the tutorials just because they take so much. So we'll see.
and
We'll see what.
that's what makes it bad because it's like I do a lot of other things with my channel, and sometimes trying to squeeze that time to focus on tutorials can be hard, and they are time consuming,
Mhm.
and it's like I know I need to get more comfortable with doing them. I really do. But I want to know like how like Bago Day, like I think like every week she gets one done. I'm
I don't know.
like,
I don't know how they do it because I'm thinking, well, next week I'm going to be recording my one that's kind of like a podcast. And I'm like, I've got to work on a tutorial next week as well because I've got to get to where I'm kind of ahead or I will never be able to keep up.
Laura Lee says she has to go get some new lawn sprinklers. See you all later. You have a good day, Laura Lee, and we're just about to wrap things up. I have a few comments left to read, and then we'll wrap everything up. Angela says Happy 4th of July. Yeah, Happy 4th of July, everybody. Um,
Before,
and let's see. Teensy says they should sell new bags. I'd be first in line down for now. I know. And
new
with
backs
back
and new
is
knees.
like if you touch along like my hips and my back, and even like some parts of my legs, upper legs. I mean, you barely like touch it, and it's like I'm like, ow,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know why I'm that sensitive to touch in those areas like that. He's like Frank has back problems, but he's not like that. Normally he's like it feels good, like if you massage or touch his back, but not me.
Yeah. I understand what you're talking about. Sometimes I feel that kind of pain. It's not all the time, but don't touch me. And yeah, I want to be touched, but don't touch me.
And Laura Lee says she finally found her temperature blanket. I had done up to the end of April, so I would have to do May and June. Um,
So,
Really, probably your best way to catch up would be like do two, maybe three rows a day until you get caught up. And for my temperature blanket challenge, I am, if I recall right, I think I said till the end of February that I was giving people. I got to go back and check. But I know I gave extra time to get it finished because I know people fall behind on them sometimes. So let's see. Chris says that sounds like fibro. And I have started wondering about that, which I do need
Yeah.
to ask my doctor if that could be part of my issue. Like, I know I have arthritis in my back, and I know, like, and he suspects sciatica because, like, how the pain kind of radiates out and
Mhm.
then down the legs. But I do wonder, like, why, if you just like touch me, especially if you hit like around my tailbone area, you know, and even the physical therapist noticed noticed that, and I think it's worse now than it was then, where like how he would massage on my back. He was like he said point blank he could hardly put any pressure, and then there were still times where I was like ow,
Yeah, my daughter's like, I wasn't even touching you. And I'm like, but it hurts.
and
And I've wondered if I had fibro as well. So,
Frank even said, like, I mean, he's like, I'm barely touching you, and it's like, and there's times that because I'm like, can you massage my back? And he always like, yeah, but you always complain that it hurts. It's kind of this
yeah,
running
it's
thing.
hard because you really want somebody to help relieve all the pain, but then they touch you and it's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, because you think it's gonna feel better, but it typically doesn't. And I'm always like, ow, 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 stop, stop, stop. And he's like, I'm barely touching you, and it's like, TT says pain is because you need to shop at the back store. Yeah. So Lauralee, okay, you say your fibro makes your skin hurt. Um, like how does it really hurt? Because I'm kind of like because I do, like I said, I do kind of wonder if that could be the issue. TT says fibro makes everywhere hurt. I hate it.
Yeah.
Lauralee says I've dealt with fibro for 30 years. I pray you don't have fibro. Yeah, and like another thing too, my doctor had like tested me for like autoimmune disorders, and nothing came up for that. But it just because that's what like like I said, it's like certain areas it really hurt,
Mhm.
and
What I've noticed is the people who care the most about other people are the ones that tend to get fibro, which means you probably have it. Not that I want you to have it, but that's what I've noticed.
so it's like I mean I don't know because it seems like it's more than just like your typical back trouble. So I don't know. Because I know, like, even Frank has sciatica, and his back, he's not like that.
Yeah.
Cheesy says fibro can't stand to be touched; it just hurts. Sad thing is that is what it sounds like with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll probably have to mention that to my doctor next time to see what he says. But anywho, it's about that time. Well, it's past that time now. So, is there anything you want to say, Michelle, before we say our goodbyes?
I wanted to say thank you for all the people who've been so kind and those who've told me that they've been joining my one said my magic family. I loved that. Um, so I'm just super grateful. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here.
You're
I love
welcome.
it. It was awesome.
And I want to thank you for coming live with me. I enjoyed having you. And I want to thank everybody that came out today to be a part of the live. I enjoyed chit chatting with y'all. And I also want to thank those that will be watching on replay. And feel free to answer any of the questions that we asked in the comments. Let's see. Laura Lee saying, it just hurts to touch my skin when it acts up. Can't even stand clothes to touch my skin. And she was a nurse for 30 years. See, I don't have that problem with clothes.
I've had times where I have. Like it flares up and it's worse, but it's not all the time for me.
But anywho, I hope y'all all have a fabulous yarny day. Have a safe and happy 4th of July, which y'all be talking to me again on the 4th. Be the light and bye.